Okay, we had the flood,
Yes.
and from that, I understand that upheaval within the earth pierced that metallic crystalline structure, the whole universe, this lattice work, and then what? The perimeter of the universe started to expand so God could show mercy for what was going on earth.
Okay, you're headed in the right
And
direction.
that happened twice, right?
Okay, it did in this dimension. You're thinking you're headed in the right direction in the creation model. The first day of the flood, Psalm 46:5 says, He uttered His voice and the earth melted. The internal structure of the earth experienced a nuclear meltdown to the point where the radiation of the heat of the great Tehum was accelerated to the point that it ruptured the earth. We have calculations to show that microwave will, if water is encased, microwave will expand that so that in a matter of minutes, that would rip the entire earth at the seams. We have calculations to show that, and send a jet of water 10 miles high. That would rupture the canopy. Now, you have a crystalline canopy that's localized, and that's described as the rakia. But in the background, you have a universal rakia, a lattice of subatomic particles giving a matrix to all of space-time. You getting this? So we have the rakia is the Hebrew word. So you have this universal lattice structure that gives space-time dimension. But you have it localized above the earth in a crystalline canopy. Concentrated is a better word. Concentrated in a crystalline canopy. So the first day of the flood, when God uttered His voice and there was thermonuclear reaction inside the earth, the water expanded to rip channel windows, and that localized canopy rained down. Took 40 days and 40 nights, that concentrated canopy. We have a new text ready. David Bassett's been working for months putting the glossary and the index together. And right now the challenge is for us to get it off his computer because it crashed during a thunderstorm or a thunderstorm in his area up near Dallas. So we're trying to get it off his computer. Pray that we do, because we need to publish this book. Yes. So first of all, we had that thermonuclear reaction that is described, Psalm 46, God uttered His voice and the earth melted. That the internal structure of the earth was dissolved to a degree. Geophysicists recognize two events inside the earth. There's evidence of two of these events. Later, between 300 and 500 years after the flood, after things had stabilized to some degree, and the canopy had rained down, took 40 days and nights to do that, there was another thermonuclear reaction inside the earth in the days of Peleg that expanded the globe. That's where the second one comes in. Now, this we have in the book, Creations, in the video, Creation and Symphony, the model. But in the model, primarily the only evidence we had that crystalline canopy could be concentrated was a hydrogen canopy. But that would require metastability. That's a technical word meaning like a diamond. A diamond is just carbon, but it's compressed to an extreme degree, so it's permanent in its structure, as permanent as we can make it physically. That's called metastability. Well, God could make that canopy metastable. And that's all we had to work with when I produced that video series. But we need this book now to upgrade that video series to show that we have another candidate called sugilite, which we can demonstrate that could be held in place. Plus, sugilite is found on the earth. So please pray that we can get that information off David Bassett's computer.
Is this particular compound, is this something that came from the canopy that ended up residing down on the Earth's surface?
Okay, we're assuming it did because it has been found in pockets on the Earth. And it meets the scientific criteria. In this book, Dr. Edward Boudreau, a major chemical physicist who's now with the Lord, spent years. I paid his salary for a long period of time to do this research for us. Didn't pay it all the time, but paid it periodically. And so he was able to produce actual scientific measurements and statistics to show that a sugilite canopy could be held in suspension above the earth. And it'd be very thin, like 2 millimeters thick. It could be held in suspension above the earth. So at least now we have a scientific demonstration that it would work.
Can I add a quick footnote to that?
Yes.
I read that. And so, you know how when you hold two magnets together with like poles, you feel that force? It just won't go?
Mm-hmm.
That's what is behind the sugilite. I didn't know the sugilite was behaved that way, but it could have been held in place by the Earth's magnetic field.
That's correct. And he demonstrates that in all of these. Good deal, Dave. Thanks for bringing that out.
And this comes from the core, right?
From the core outward. Well, the magnetic field is
I'm not talking about
40,000.
the field itself. I'm talking about the source.
Yes. That holds it,
Correct.
orients it. The core orients it. That's correct. So you got it correct, but we need that extra publication to bring it up to date, to bring the research up to date. But you know a lot about it to even be able to ask that question. Okay, the second question was right here.
I used to have a problem with simulating God creating light and then God creating the sun and the other sources of light in the heavens, until I finally put Revelation and Genesis together and discovered that the lights in the universe are dependent upon God's source of light and not the other way around.
You've got it. That's a major statement.
Could you expand on that any?
Okay, as we've learned today, everything is interrelated. Did you get that idea? Everything is a grand symphony. It's interrelated. There's exchange of energy. So the stability and the maintenance of these stellar bodies. On day number 4, God said, "Let there be light," and the universe was flooded with light. That was his own glory and energy. He just said, "Let there be light," and there was light. On day number 4, he coalesced his own glory and energy into star bodies and to galaxies to bring light upon the earth. All of it was for the purpose of man, made in his image, that man, where he was going to express his love. So the stability of all of those star bodies, they're held together by the person and by his glory, his own energy. Without their supporting energy, they're just going to dissipate. They can't maintain an identity and a function without that background supporting energy. Everything feeds on everything else. And that whole light, that electromagnetic energy, the very first thing. In the beginning, God said, "Let there be light." That electromagnetic spectrum supports those star bodies, and the person doing all of that is Jesus Christ.